a stunning photograph of Dominique. There she was, lying on the carpet, dribbling. What was her age?
How old is she?
Last year.
The finger pointed to the camera lens. We'll never forget her 21st birthday.
So I'm fucking ruined that. I'm really sorry.
Come on, guys, let's listen. Stealing my thunder. Anyway, thank you.
Right, Mel.
Speak up, Dan.
Come on, guys.
Being in the research business, I decided to look up in the dictionary the definition of a bride. And this is it.
That's good for Australia.
A bride is the first person to put her foot down after being carried over the threshold by a husband.
Person or woman?
Anyway, we should start at the beginning with Dominique, because not many of you would know this, but for the first 18 months of her life, Dominique had a hearing problem. She really couldn't hear anything. And we didn't know this. I mean, she's made up for it. But we didn't know this. And I was naturally thrilled when I heard her very first words. And you know what they were? You'll never guess it.
I'm deaf.
No. I was,
Beer.
when I heard these words, I thought that we'd spawned a financial genius, maybe from the American side of things and all of that. What she actually said was, buck and buck. My mind was racing. I was thinking, maybe she'll be ending up running some huge financial institution. And while my mind was racing on those lines, because we were all jumping around with excitement. She'd actually said something after 18 months. What happened was that I was disabused by Janet to say that actually she was imitating a group of chickens.
Say with thanks, though, really.
Now, we moved on from there.
Intelligent from an early age, though. Yeah.
There you go. But funnily enough, those early fantasies actually bore fruit, because when Dominique was at university, she worked for that distinguished merchant bank, Goldman Sachs. And in the evening, she was managing their entire communications network, which was fantastic. And inevitably, the phone call came, and it was Dominique saying, Dad, why am I studying French and Italian literature where I should be staying at Goldman Sachs and earning millions? And under these circumstances, a parent has to step up to the plate. And I said, Dominique, you're getting an education. And what an education she got. This was I wish I could do that degree. 5 months in the south of France, 5 months in northern Italy. Absolutely unbelievable. And now she's, of course, not only just brilliantly fluent in French and Italian, but within a few weeks she'll be fluent in Spanish too. Now, growing up in Wimbledon, as we all did, there were always animals. There were 3 Great Danes and 2 Moddies, but so they weren't all the Great Danes weren't there at the same time. But nevertheless, she did. And in fact, when I came home from work, as I did at the time, I used to read improvised stories about these 2 animals called Pinky and Perky. But Dominique got to me and she needed to be called Pinky and Bluey. So I told these stories about animals, and would you believe it? Inevitably, Dominique became very, very fond of pigs. I mean, incredibly fond of pigs. So much so, it totally changed her life, and she became a complete and utter vegetarian. And I remember an incident where we were all in France, and Dominique was there, Michelle was doing something else. So Dominique had brought her close friends, Jan and Meg, who are here tonight. What I didn't know when I was asked, is it okay if Jan and Meg come? And I said, yeah, sure. I didn't know that they were not just vegetarians, they were something else with the V. They were vegans. And I had this terrible experience of walking along, it's in Les Sables actually, walking along this fantastic array of seafood restaurants. And, passing each one, keep going until we found one that served chips and salad. She's come on from there as well. When I think of Dominique, I think of her very strong sense of determination. I mean, this woman is determined to get out of life what she wants. And when she was very young, if she was frustrated, I remember one incident, you're not going to like me saying this. Mummy and Daddy said no, and so what she did, she cut holes in one of her favourite dresses. Do you remember that? Is that not true?
I don't remember. It's true. I think I might have been 3. No, you were at least 2.
Lock up those sumo things. Make sure she doesn't get to them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will also say that my daughters were, as a great team, they were ahead of their time. I had a teddy bear that my mother sent from Australia, and I really liked this teddy bear. So what did I call it? I called it Teddy. I mean, it's not terribly imaginative, is it? But it was Teddy. When the girls were given my teddy, they gave it a sex change operation. they put a dress on it, and they called it Jane Teddy. From that day on, that Teddy looked at me in the flush. You know where to head over time. So, but I will say that another of, well, obviously Dominique has multiple qualities, but the thing that does shine is her integrity. And that's been tested in many different ways over the years. And yet integrity is an elastic term. I was reading an article in Country Life last week, actually, and it talked about honesty box in the countryside. You know the idea where there's an honesty box, there's some produce there at the farmer's gate. And there were 2 boxes and 2 signs. The box on the left had a load of shiny apples. It was fantastic. And above that it said, "Take only one because God is watching." The one on the right had some delicious homemade chocolate biscuits. And it says, "Take as many as you like because God's busy watching the apples." It's almost there. Now, Dominique is someone who definitely realised from an early age that health and safety were the 2 most dangerous words in English. And the poor thing, she broke her arm in the park playing, and she insisted on roller skating, this vast plaster on her arm. And there was nothing we could do, and I was sort of reduced to filming this. Which I have, and you may see one day. It's rather stylish.
50 quid on Yippee Frank.
There's thought.
250.